Over the last couple of months, I have heard quite a bit about domain name deregulation. However, there hasn't been a lot of explanation made of actually how that's actually going to affect brands and online assets. There's definitely an opportunity for people to start educating. ICANN really haven't been talking about it in a great deal. A couple of the online journalists talking Revolution and NMA have been discussing it, but yeah, they haven't explained when this is actually going to happen and what's going to be the long-term effects on brands and digital assets. From my understanding, the domain name deregulation will actually affect the higher end of brands. So, you know, your everyday.com companies won't be terribly affected, but the likes of Coca-Cola and Nike and the big brands who can afford to buy these domain names, I think it's going to open up wider opportunities for those guys to actually host a lot of their content rather than actually hosting content on the likes of Facebook and on other social networking sites. So I think they're going to be retrieving a lot of their traffic back onto their own websites. But it's a hugely expensive task.
Yeah, I had heard that there was some more deregulation happening. Doesn't mean a huge amount for me. I guess some bigger companies will take advantage of having a more interesting URL or however they want to do it. For companies like the department that I run, I don't think it's something we'd necessarily use. I know there's a big flurry of different top-level domains that became available, was it 4 or 5 years ago, might have been more. And I know that a lot of new companies started using .biz and that kind of top-level domain, and then you don't see so many coming now, so I wonder if a smaller number, you know, people generally still sticking to the .coms and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, possibly it could be confusing. I mean, people kind of expect there to be a sort of known ending to a URL, and if they start seeing a lot of different ones, maybe it could confuse some users. I think some are also happy to just, you know, click anything or type anything in and believe it. So.
Yeah, I think it is a good idea, it is of interest for kind of consumers. If you see an advert or something you're interested in, it's going to be a lot more memorable. Also makes it pretty clear off the bat what that website's going to be about. I guess with a lot of kind of portals and virals you see around the internet at the moment, it's almost seems hidden that it's a company behind it, whereas if it is .Nike or .Microsoft or something like that, it's quite clear what you're going for and quite memorable as well. So it seems on the whole I can see the benefits of it. Certainly more memorable. I mean, kind of for an advert or something at the end of it, a lot more likely to remember it. And I guess also by doing that, I think it's probably more attractive as opposed to saying www.nike.com/the latest thing they're doing. To have that brand name there first and then .Nike makes it a more kind of memorable, attractive proposition.
And do you think more top-level domains being available might be confusing for people?
A bit. I guess it's two things. But if people understand what the domain name means, then it's quite a straightforward thing. But I think kind of people who aren't as aware of the internet and haven't been using it for as long might just get a bit confused of what this dot means and kind of where it's going. But I guess it's one of those things that as it becomes more into kind of common use, people will just kind of get used to it. Yeah, having my own top-level domain for myself isn't of that much interest. Maybe one day if I had a small business it might be, but at the moment not so much.
It doesn't really make a difference to me how a web address ends because I use Google to search for a website that I need, so the ending doesn't really matter. However, I would think that if I'd seen .co.uk, I'd see it as more localised than .com, which is often I perceive to be an American website, so I would trust it more if it said .co.uk. Having a company name as opposed to just .com or .co.uk would be a really good way of driving consumers directly to your website. Yeah, if I was running my own business, I think it would be really useful to have my own top-level domain, especially if it wasn't too expensive.
That's brilliant, thank you.